you doing?
Welcome everybody to Hibiscus Sports Complex as Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia bring you another QBL matchup, this time featuring the Mackay Meteors and the Southwest Metro Pirates. I'm John Guarn. I'm joined in the booth by Dan George and Dave Derwin. Guys, we just saw a great women's matchup. What are your expectations, Dave, for this men's matchup tonight, this afternoon?
Well, it'll be certainly, I'm not going to say do or die for the Pirate ship, but it's getting pretty close. I mean, starting 0-3, injuries have played a big part in their start to the season versus the red-hot Mackay Meteors. So the Meteors, again, looking at their starting five, you're getting production from everyone. They've all played NBL. It's a pretty strong five to start with. And then the Pirates are missing some key guys, but Teasy's returning tonight, and we'll see how he goes.
Dan, what are your thoughts on the matchup tonight? Where are the keys to the game if the Pirates are going to pull out the win?
Well, this is Mackay's third game in 3 days, but they played Toowoomba last night, and I think Lucas Walker had 17 and 10 in 16 minutes. So I don't think they had to play their guys huge minutes, and I just think that the class of Trigar, Walker, Bruce, Cedar, I think that'll be enough for them to go 3-0 on this trip. So I think they are going to get the W, but for Southwest, I'm just looking forward to seeing the style of brand that they play. Like D-Love said, they've had a slow start to the season. Jared Bairstow being out's massive for them. That hurts, obviously, but I think Mick Downer is going to bring a certain level of professionalism to the program, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how they come out, how they execute their stuff, what kind of structures they run, and really make Mackay work for this W, which I think they're going to get, but they're going to have to really put in a big effort in front of a fairly parochial Southwest crowd today to get it.
And Southwest, like you said, still looking for their first win of the season, and again, Mackay also is undefeated. Third game in 3 days, Dave. They do it every year. They seem to handle it pretty well. Is that an issue, though, and do you see it being an issue today for the Meteors?
Not at all. I mean, they might be a little bit tired, but equally I think they will play into what Coach Downer could look to do. I mean, if I'm him at the moment, I've had no tees, no Bairstow all year. You want to compete for starters and start building that culture into this group, and they've got to keep the turnovers low and make it ugly. I'd be full court pressing, trapping Mackay all game, and trying to junk it up and make it as ugly as possible and fatigue them. Would be their main target because they're a bit short light on tonight.
Yeah, Mackay, though, comes in tonight, and coach/player Cam Trigar has seemed to make the transition to coaching pretty smooth. I mean, it does help to have a quite talented roster. What are some of the challenges you think he has as a player coach? I mean, the guys probably give him a bit of stick for drawing up some plays for himself, but gee, I mean, he's still a force. He was great last year for Kansas, and he's had a great start to the season for Mackay.
Yeah, I think for them, it's going to be much similar. They've got, points in the paint for them is going to be key, and that inside-outside game, and you can't teach experience, and that's what they all have. So despite all the noise, if Southwest runs and presses and traps all night long, they're pretty cool heads, and I think that's what Trigger brings. Is he's seen a lot, he's done a lot, and so I think he can bring that poise to the group, which is really important when you're coaching.
Well, I agree, Dave, and I think he does have a good team, but recruiting is a part of coaching, and he's done a good job putting a program together with the help of the Mackay Association, obviously, but I just think that he knows exactly how to get wins, and he could easily be drawing up more plays for himself, but he's not playing super heavy minutes. He's not taking a lot of shots, and he's giving Sean, Bruce, Walker, and these other more role-type players the freedom to play their game, and so far they've had a really great start to the season, and it's paying off.
All right, we'll just take a pause for the Australian national anthem. We'll be back with you shortly. right, back with you now after Tanner McGrew received his plethora of accolades from last season. He's come back in, McGrew, and he's had a good start to the season, but to reach the levels that he had last year is going to be a bit of a challenge for him. Year two is always a bit tougher to come back and produce the same numbers from year one, isn't it, fellas?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for him is that when you're missing guys like Bairstow and Tees, they're obviously two big threats that now the defense doesn't have to really pay that much attention to. So that's probably the hurt him, the less of time and space that he's had. So I think, I think he'll get into it as well. And equally, I think, the challenge of going from, the north to the south and the ongoing hoops, 12, for him trying to break it to be that next level, that's got to be tough too. So I think there's been a bit of adjustment maybe, and again, coming off the plane and freshening up and refocusing on what he's got coming.
You've played overseas before, Dan. What's the adjustment like when you go into another country and you got to produce right away?
Well, I guess it depends on what country you're going to, what your situation is, and obviously any basketball player is going to deal with that at some point. Even if you're going from the Brisbane Capitals to the Spartans, there's an expectation on having to come in and produce. But I think basketball is a universal language, and Tanner McGrew, having played here last year, I don't think that would be part of his problem. Maybe teams can scout him a little bit better because they've seen him before. Maybe missing Bairstow and those guys maybe hurts a little bit as well. But, I mean, he looks like he should be my high school chemistry teacher. He could be the most clean-cut MVP the QBL's ever had, but watching him tonight against Trigger, Lucas Walkers and these guys is going to be exciting anyway.
Did you even do chemistry?
Hell no, I didn't do chemistry.
No.
I did biology. That was good. But no, I'm not a chemist or a scientist by any stretch of the imagination at all.
Quick predictions, guys. I know, Dan, you said early Mackay was going to win. What do you think? Is that what you're tipping?
I think the class of Mackay is going to shine through, and I would expect them. Third game, yes, but they haven't played big minutes so far, and I think they'll be relatively fresh. They'll be in a good rhythm, and I think they'll get a win by 15 today.
Dave, what's your call?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what shape Brendan Tees is in. So I guess my sort of inside mail is he's been nursing that injury, and today's either do or die, I think. So either he's good to go for the season, or he may get shut down, requiring surgery. So that's just the cold, hard truth of it. And hopefully for Brendan, it comes out okay. But disappointing if the Pirate fans, if he needs to call it and go. Because, I mean, obviously the 36 is a paying his bills, right? So, he's got to think about that and his long-term career. So
that's interesting that they're using a game to decide that.
Well,
wouldn't a Thursday night training dictate his health?
Well, he trained this week, and so he wants to see in his mind today if he thinks it can go. And I think that's not definitive. That's just sort of his, the thinking is kind of it's.
Yeah.
I got to make a call, right?
Well, let's hope it does. I think he had surgery last year on his ankle, and obviously you would hope he's healthy. We'll see. And fellas, as Mackay comes out their intro, Lucas Walker's right in front of us. He has leaned it down. He's dressed like David Beckham with his hairband on, but he looks as fit as I've seen him look for quite a while, which is a good sign for him and a great sign for Mackay.
Yeah, he just re-signed. I think he re-signed with Perth again, so he'll be back playing NBL action after the QBL again this year.
Yeah, and he's had his ups and downs. I mean, Thunder and I saw him last year and playing in Seaball, and he was probably disappointing to.
Well, I think if there was a men of basketball calendar, he would be the centerfold. Physically amazing, but his IQ has been questioned in the past. But in a league like ours, you would expect him to do really well purely on physical traits that he's got.
Well, Pirates come out with Tees.
Well, he's come out guarding Vel Williams, so he's given up a little bit.
Well, and he fouls McGrew. I was about to say, if I'm him, maybe the strategy from Coach Trigar was let him guard Vel Williams. So he's almost like a safety. He doesn't have to guard Vel. Vel's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he can probably help off him a little bit, which he tried to do on that occasion but picked up an early foul, which obviously was not the plan for the Meteors.
Hey, he's trying to contest the alley-oop pass to McGrew. It was a good contest, definitely got the body. So McGrew goes to the line for two and misses the first.
I was talking to Vinesy this week, and he said V-Dub Jr. has been playing really well. The stats haven't really reflected it, but he's had a really good impact so far. So I'm really looking forward to how he handles Sean Bruce this week, today.
Well, here Pirates came out with a bit of the pressure here. Verl Williams Jr. does have the matchup with Sean Bruce. Walker's going to take the jump shot. It's off, and V-Dub Jr.'s got the board. Vines open on at the three-point line, gets in the paint, tries to hand it off. Rasmussen right there, though.
This is a really big game for Ryan Vines, too. Your team hasn't started too well. He was in an NBL program with the Bullets in the off-season and played a couple of preseason games. You're coming up against Sean Bruce, who has been arguably the early season MVP. I think if the Pirates are going to get back on track, it's got to go through Ryan Vines.
Well, we'll see what they've got here. Vines had an opportunity at the three-point line and let it go. Bruce has it stolen by Tees. Here comes Verl Williams Jr. Hands off for McGrew, who puts it down with one hand. It's a great look there by Verl Williams Jr.
How about that finish, fellas? For a high school science teacher, he can get up and finish with authority on the rim.
Well, and if we go back to the play before, that's what the Pirates have lacked, and that's what Brendan Tees adds. The defensive toughness, defensive intelligence, read the play well. Bruce left his feet. Teesy gets up to the steal, and again, VW in transition is probably, there's no quicker in the league with him and the ball in his hands in transition.
Trigar has it against McGrew on the block. Gonna back in, kick it out for Walker's three. That's good from Lucas Walker. If he's got the three-point shot going, it's gonna be a big night or big afternoon for Southwest.
And I think that's probably what you're gonna allow, Thunder, isn't it? I mean, you gotta pick your poison a little bit with this group. And if Southwest have said, well, if he's hitting threes, so be it.
I think if they're wide open threes, that's a concern, Dave. But if they're contested threes, you got a hand up. I mean, you'll live with that for sure. And you'd much rather Lucas Walker stand out there shooting threes than get into the room and putting pressure on your bigs and foul trouble and everything that comes with it.
And Bruce gets to the bucket to lay it in. 1 point lead here for Southwest, 2 minutes into the game. T is going to fire his first three of the season. It's off. Boardman trying to battle for it, loses it out of bounds.
Well, Williams got burnt real easy from Bruce here just then, and he needs to do a better job of defending him. And equally, the Pirates have got to do a better job of help.
Good handoff there from Walker to Trigar. If you're going to press, that's what you run the risk of. There's a quick, easy two for Mackay. They're in the lead now, 7-6. McGrew will fire a three that's short, and Trigar comes down with it.
Ooh.
Vines gets called for another personal foul. That's going to be his second personal. He picked up a little cheap one on the inbound. And you see right away Coach Downer going to the bench. Tendakai Machando going to check in for the captain, Ryan Vines. Walker, another three. It's up. It's good from Lucas Walker.
Well, he must like the move north, huh? He's been balling since he's come up to Mackay. Averaging a handy 21 and 15 so far at 61% for the season.
Verl Williams gets the finish and the foul.
I think anytime you wear pink shoes, it brings a certain level of swag, although we did see some unsuccessful pink shoes at Ipswich last week, which we're not going to bring up again from Robbie Manson, obviously, was rocking them. But I think if you're going to wear the pink Jordans, you've got to play well, and Lucas Walker's done that so far. And like we said, he looks incredibly fit. And if his jump shot's going, with all the other physical stuff that he brings, his ability to defend and rebound, he's going to be a handful for Southwest today and every other team moving forward.
He's that interesting matchup. He's athletic enough to play the four, but he's probably a 2 or a 3, isn't he?
Well, in this league, he's a 4, and he's a really good athletic 4 that can shoot, can rebound, can get to the rim. I think in the NBL is where he struggles. Is he a 4? Can he go and guard the Cambestos in the post? Is he a 3? Can he guard Torrey Craig? I think that's where he's been a little bit in between in the past, that maybe his IQ has been questioned a little bit from a basketball sense. But
there's Walker with the little teardrop. That's off. So we missed a few layup attempts missed from both teams. Teasy throws up the floater. That's off. Walker comes down with it. So quite fast-paced here. Both teams looking to get out and run. Neither team able to capitalize on that series. Trigar turns around and misses the jump shot. It's tipped. Then Machando going to get called for the touch foul there. Look, pretty interesting though. They're going to guard Trigar straight up with McGrew. No double. We haven't seen him send the double yet.
Well, I think the double spells trouble. We saw Tanner McGrew in the pregame receive his 2016 MVP award for the season. So if you've got an American who's an MVP that can't guard his man one-on-one on the post, you're going to have trouble. And nice finish from Teasy as well. But the double team opens up shooters, and you don't want Cedar to get going. Lucas Walker, Sean Bruce, you don't want these guys to hit up with some open looks. So I think the longer that they can play straight up, the better.
Turnover there by Walker. Good defense there by Bruce. He's got a lane to the he missed the layup, I'll just say that. A lot of contact on that one though, and Boardman picks up the foul.
I'm not sure that he was that worried about making that layup. You can just tell he's just obviously a very smart player. He knew what he was doing. He wants contact and he's going to the line for 2 shots.
Jared Gamble checks in for Alex Boardman. A lot of new faces in the Pirates roster this season, so it does take you a little while. You bring in talent and you bring in a lot of turnover on the roster. It's going to take you a while to gel, isn't it?
It is, and I think the other part of it is, from a player's point of view, some of them are obviously trying to aspire to get to the next level, and that's what Coach Downer has as an attractive option, is with his connection to the Bullets. So everyone's thinking, if I impress the coach, then maybe I can help me on my path. So there's a bit of that in the back of their mind as well.
Bruce missed them both. Verl Williams Jr. fires the three-pointer. It's good. 14-10 the lead here for Pirates. There's the alley-oop for Walker. Can't finish with one hand. McGrew leading the fast break. Gets it back from Verl Williams Jr. and finishes with the right hand.
Geez, Verl Williams has been great in the first quarter.
He's been awesome,
yeah.
D-Love. Been really, really good defensively and offensively.
And Wade Repkit's going to take the timeout here for Mackay. Let's keep it here, Dave, because I want to get back to Verl Williams Jr. Spent a lot of time in the U.S., also spent a bit of time down in Adelaide. You can see the growth in his game. He's a little more in control, still using that speed and his athleticism, but making nice decisions and being as creative as we've ever seen him.
Yeah, and he's always been that. The knock on him has always been the size, and can he compete at the next level? He hasn't added I don't think he's added a kilo since he was 17, which is a bit of a concern, but that's the knock, is can he physically get in front of Bruce and keep him off the block? And he's always been clever enough to, if guys try to post him and fast enough, but at this next level, it's can he take his game to the next level? So it's been really good. Obviously, there's been good development in that Adelaide 36ers program as well, and he's been doing a great job tonight. I mean, he's been their primary ball handler, and he's looked really good.
And you have him on the floor. It puts Vines off the ball. It puts Tees off the ball. It gives you a few more weapons, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it moves Brendan and Vines into the sort of 2 and 3, which is probably where it suits them both at this league, because they can have the opportunity to be scorers.
And Verl's jump shot looks like it's gotten better as well.
Yeah, it's always been cash. I mean, I just think it's a bit of the confidence, right? So I think he hasn't, like Ryan Vines said earlier, he hasn't shot it that well, but they've all been good looks in the scope of the offense. So just a matter of time.
And it's a young backcourt you see on the floor for the Pirates with Verl Williams Jr. and Tendakai Machando. And then you look at the veteran backcourt of Chris Cedar and Sean Bruce. So really good test here for the young Pirates. They're up here early 16-10. Trigar shuffled his feet and travels. That to me, if I was a coach, I would be so frustrated by that. You call the timeout and you turn it over.
It's hard to be frustrated when you're the coach, you call a timeout, and then you turn it over. But you can just see the contrasting styles, fellas. Mackay, at least to me, look like they want to slow it down, play a bit of methodical offense, grind it out in the half court, on balls, post-ups, whereas Southwest look great when they're getting stops and they're out and running.
Good pass inside to Trigar. They're going to get Jared Gamble with the foul, so Trigar is going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Dave, you've known Cam Trigar for a while. Was it coaching something that he ever mentioned to you over the years, getting into?
Not really. I mean, he certainly as a player was trying to acquire as many jerseys as he possibly can up and down the East Coast. I think he's got about 97 association jerseys as a very seasoned journeyman. But I guess at this point of his career, he's needed to think about what's next. And again, he was always a smart player. The transition is pretty easy for him.
Have you ever played for a former player as a head coach?
Have what, sorry?
Have you ever played for someone who was a former player, or someone that you competed against and then became your coach?
No, I think most coaches have played at different levels, but there's usually a bit of an age gap. I mean, Mark Leader in Geelong was one of the best Americans that ever came out here, but by the time he got into coaching, he was obviously a lot older than all these players were. So I think it's rare that you've got someone that a year or two ago you're having beers with, and all of a sudden he's the one telling you to get on the line, run and win sprints at practice. So that's the adjustment, I think, for Cam in terms of how do you balance that? You're still everyone's mate, you're still everyone's teammate, but on the other hand, sometimes you've got to crack the whip too, and I think that's where the main challenges will come. When you're winning ball games, that's an easy thing to balance, but if a loss or 2 or 3 creep into their program, how do you adjust to that? I think that's going to be one of the most interesting things to watch in terms of as we follow the Mackay Meteors this year, how that plays out.
You're going to get Bruce with the foul, reaching in on Verl Williams Jr. It's the 4th team foul on Mackay.
I think the other thing too, Johnny, is you look at Trigger's resume and he's won a bucket load. He may have a lot of different jerseys, but he pretty much won everywhere he went to, right? So he's been in winning programs, and he's obviously compiled that off a lot of coaches as well. And just like all players who convert to coaches, they pick up bits and pieces, add it to the toolkit, and he does a good job, especially with this mature Mackay group. So it's, as Thunder was saying, it's always nice when you've got a mature group to coach instead of trying to develop talent per se.
There's Jake Allen in over to Machando. He's trying to make something happen. And he does. There's contact on the way to the bucket. Matt Gange, who just checked in for Mackay, gets called for his personal foul. So both teams in the penalty. And Tendakai Machando going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. Free throws are going to be big, guys. Got to hit your free throws. Machando missed them both, but Jake Allen comes down with a big offensive rebound.
It's been interesting too, guys. We spoke in the pregame about what kind of style is Southwest going to run, and I think so far in the first 7-8 minutes of this game, they've come out and executed really well, and they've done a great job of getting stops and running, and Verl's putting pressure on the rim, and McGrew's obviously trailing and dunking it, but then that's not there. Their half-court offenses look really good as well, and they certainly don't look like a team that's at the bottom end of the table. So far they've looked great, and I think we saw in the women that sometimes a team can do that for a quarter or two, but eventually the class shows out. So if they can maintain this level of structure for the full 40 minutes, that'll obviously go a long way towards knocking off Mackay today.
Now Machando has it, kicks it out. Allen's open for a 3. Step into the elbow jumper, rattles it home. That's another nice new addition for Southwest, bringing Jake Allen in off the bench.
Yeah, really, continuing Thunder's comments. I mean, really good poise from Pirates then, and again, Allen's got really good patience in that with a little pump fake, and just stepped in for that little
Trigar
15-footer
with a deep jumper. Answers. 4-point lead here for Southwest.
I'm liking the Allen Walker matchup. Both guys who like going at it.
I thought you were going to say both fake tough guys. Is that right? No? No, I'm joking. I think Allen has a Wednesday night reputation that might slide down that way a little bit, but no, they're both athletic guys that neither's going to take a back step. And Lucas Walker, we saw before, get frustrated, and I think he's just itching to go and pound on somebody. So we'll see what happens here, but it's certainly good to view.
I don't know what he's. I'm with you. I don't know what he's frustrated about.
I don't know either, but I think, like, physically, if everyone took their shirt off out there, he would be by far the fittest, strongest guy on the court. And I think sometimes he just expects to overpower people. When that doesn't happen, he gets upset. But Southwest so far have done a pretty good job of containing him, aside from those 2 3 balls that he hits, and he's frustrated again. I think too sometimes these NBL guys that come back to the QBL or any of the secondary leagues in Australia, 2 things happens. One is the game's officiated a little bit differently, and that's probably what he's frustrated about. Some of those bumps that might not get called in the NBL are called, like that possession we just saw. But they also come back thinking that they're going to come and dominate. And some of these QBL guys are very, very good players, and it's not as easy as they think to walk into a Southwest on a Sunday and put up 20 and 15. So
yeah,
we'll see what comes.
We, similarly, we had a story like that when Rucker came in and started coaching the Pirates a few years ago, and that was when he just finished retiring from the NBL. And I remember saying to him as his assistant and said, "Hey, Ruck, like these aren't NBL guys. Like they can't do what NBL guys can do." So there was a big adjustment for him and to the level. So it's the same thing whether you're playing or coaching. You got guys that play uni and are just happy running around in a good league, versus guys that are trying to get to the next level, and that's the reality of this competition.
I think the QBL as a whole has the eyes of the QBL have changed. A lot of people see it at the same level as a Siebel. For a long time, Siebel was always that next level, and a lot of people view the QBL on that same thread. As Lucas Walker picks up the offensive foul call, you see the frustration, and then there's a technical foul called on Cam Trigar. Not sure who they're going to give it to, if they're going to give it to Trigar.
So what happens here, fellas? This is unique. Is that a bench technical, or does that count as a personal tech for him?
I think it's a personal tech because it was directed with him on the court.
Well, that's
it wasn't at the bench.
Surely they can negotiate that and put it to the bench and keep him on the court.
Well, I saw Coach Webb gets looking for them to give it to him on the bench there. Let's see what the referees say. No clarity on that. They are going to give. It does sound like they're going to give it to Cam Trigar on the personal technical foul. So it's a technical foul shots here, and then free throws as well because Mackay's in the penalty.
I don't mind that tech either, guys. I think that offensive foul, in terms of on Lucas Walker, I'm not sure that there was a lot in it.
There wasn't a much.
And I think given some of the stuff they've let go, he went for a lob 4 or 5 minutes ago and got bumped, nothing. So I think Trigar, stand up for your teammate and your player. Go get a tech. I think that's fine. And let's see if that fires up Mackay, because they do look a little bit flat so far. And credit Southwest Energy, but Mackay need a boost. Maybe that was it.
Tees, top of the key three is up. It's off. Walker comes down with it. You can see the frustration, though. Let's see. Decent defensive possession there for Mackay. They got the stop. Then Allen gets called for the foul on Walker. So Walker's going to go line for a couple of shots.
A couple of times the Pirates guards have been caught just, with not a good enough gap. I mean, they've got to recognize what they want to give up for Mackay, and a couple of times V-Dub getting burnt by Bruce, and just then Jake just, again, not maintaining enough gap. Walker just rips and goes by him.
Well, I think you want to keep Mackay off the foul line. They haven't played big minutes this weekend, even though it is their 3rd game in 3 days. They've been able to rest players and get everybody an even spread of playing time, which is obviously great for them. But you still don't want to stop the clock, give them 2 points at the foul line, see Lucas Walker's shot go in twice. That gets him in a rhythm. If I'm Southwest, I'm really trying to control the tempo here and not foul.
Blakovs checks in for Mackay. Gives Walker a breather. McGrew out to Allen now. Going to reset the offense here. No, they're not. McGrew's going to fire the 3 and drain it. It's been a good first quarter here so far for the Pirates. They still got 1:45 to go. Gamblin flips one up. That's off. Allen gets it, and he's going to push. Again with that alley-oop pass, good touch pass and great ball movement. Allen corner 3, that's good as well. That's better from the Pirates. They're going to call it a 2.
Yeah, good ball movement from Southwest. Making the extra pass, really unselfish. Good signs early from the Pirates here.
10-point lead for Southwest. About a minute to go now in the first quarter. Bruce pull-up jumper is good. Tease seems to look all right here in his first action of the season. Pulls up for the jumper. That's good. Well, Brendan Tease gets that jumper going. He is dangerous.
Well, Mackay's got to do a better job of defending the pick and roll. I mean, a few times they've been really sloppy.
Nice touch pass. Gambling corner three is good. There's about a 4-second differential between the game and the shot clock. Allen, Euro step, flips it up, can't finish. Bruce loses it out of bounds, but they're going to get Machando for, looks like they're going to get Machando on for a touch foul there. Going to be a couple shots for Sean Bruce. And the captain, Ryan Vines, getting set to check back in. So Vines in here with 17 seconds to go with 2 personals.
Well,
just got to hope they don't get a no board.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I don't think they will. Sean Bruce will knock both these down, you would think. So coming in for offense, I think that makes sense, Johnny. The chance of him picking up a third foul is unlikely, and we'll see what role he plays. Maybe they're going to come and run an on-ball and let him create off this, but you would expect McGrew, hopefully, to get a touch to end the quarter here for Southwest.
Bruce does hit them both, so the lead down to 5. Southwest can hold for the final shot. A lot of contact, and Allen is fouled on his way to the basket, so he's going to go to line for a couple of shots. That one's going to go on Mitch Gamblin. That's his second personal as well.
Well, the scoring certainly has improved a little bit in the last few minutes. It was a 12-16 game with about 3:30 on the clock.
A lot of it's at the free throw line, though, Dave. A lot of foul calls. Referee calling this one quite tight. We had the technical, too.
Well, that's right. It's interesting, though. But, I mean, this could be a 30-point quarter for Southwest, and give them all the credit in the world. They've come out and played really great brand of basketball. But Mackay and Coach Chigar can't be happy giving up 30 points in a quarter to a team that is struggling like Southwest have. So I'm sure defense will be a top priority for their discussions at quarter time.
Cedar back in for Mackay with about 5 seconds on the shot clock. Gets in the paint, kicks it out. Bruce steps into a three. It's up, it's long. Followed by Blycavs. Are they going to count it? They are going to count it. Looked like the clock finished, but the buzzer didn't go.
No, the buzzer did not go. You expected to hear something, but, man, what an athletic follow.
Great follow-up there, guys. 5-point lead for Southwest, though, heading into the quarter-time break. Quick thoughts, Dave, on that first quarter action.
Yeah, good tempo from the Pirates. Obviously, that's where they want to be. And Mackay, maybe a little bit testy so far, which has been interesting for them. So it's good. I mean, you know, Southwest want to challenge them, get up and in, make it difficult. At the moment, a bit of frustrations from Chigar and Walker, but they just got to turn that into defensive intensity.
Dan?
I agree with everything. The only thing I would add is I expect Mackay to take a step up and ramp up the intensity a little bit, and I think their second quarter is going to be a lot better than their first quarter. I think they're just getting a feel for the game. 30 points is too much. I reckon they're going to pick their game up in the next 10 minutes.
All right, well, it is the quarter-time break, so we'll take one as Southwest leads Mackay 30-25, heading into the quarter-time break here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Hibiscus Sports Complex. 30-25 the lead for Southwest over the Mackay Meteors. Taking a quick look at some statistics there for the Pirates, Dave.
Well, Vel Williams leading the Pirates with 9 points. Teasy's got 7, and McGrew has got 8 as well for them. Jake Allen's come off the bench for a few minutes, and he gave him a good punch as well. And for Mackay, you've got Walker and Bruce with 8 and 6. And Trigger's got 6 as well. So pretty good start to both groups as they're settling into the game.
Dan, anything jump out at you when you're looking at the statistics there? I thought it was a pretty well played quarter by both teams. Look, I know you love the turnover stat. Both teams took care of the pill, didn't they?
I do love the turnover stat. I think it's so important. And maybe I'm a little bit old school, and us love methodical, structured basketball, as opposed to some of these teams play a lot more up-tempo. But Mackay have turned it over more than they would like, and as Trigger does what he does on the baseline. But I think you'll see this Mackay team look after the ball a bit better and play a lot more structured in terms of they're going to get shots for the right people.
There's McGrew getting to the bucket, can't finish, then he knocks it out of bounds. So good start to the second quarter here for Mackay with a bucket and a stop.
And we can joke, sorry Dave, we can joke a little bit about player coach drawing up plays for himself, but the reality is Cam Trigar is still one of the best players in the league, and I would think they'll probably play a little bit more through him, maybe just to slow the pace down, draw in some Southwest defense, and that opens up the floor for the Cedars and the Bruces and these other guys as well. And I don't think Lucas Walker will be sitting down for too long either. I think defensively he is bringing so much to the table. It'll be a test for Southwest. I just think that Mackay is about to show why they're undefeated so far in the season.
They only trail by 3 at 23 seconds into the second quarter.
The other one is probably the only thing standing out on the stat sheet, Johnny, is Cedars' involvement so far has been pretty quiet.
As you say that, he goes right to the bucket.
And of course,
it's the reverse jinx.
We have been referred to as motivational, haven't we? By certain people around the league, so maybe there's another one you can take some credit for, Dave.
Vines in the paint, loses it. Cedar comes up with it. Mackay has an opportunity to take the lead on this possession. Trigar has it one-on-one with McGrew. He'll pull up for that baseline jumper. That's off. Good pass to Vines in the corner from T as the shot's off. McGrew tips it out. Verl Williams steps into a 3 that's short. Gamble comes down with it for Pirates. Tees resettles, but they only have 7 on the shot clock. They got to make something happen quick. Gamble's going to have to put up a deep jump shot that's off, and Trigar comes down with it. Mackay's tightening it up a bit.
Yeah, and Gamble can shoot that, actually. I was going to say...
Cedar going right at the defense, gets fouled, so he'll go to line for a couple shots. That one's going to go on Verl Williams Jr.
Yeah, I mean, good patience from the Pirates. I like the fact that they're trying to make Mackay play some defense for a full shot clock, which is good. Same strategy. Last time down, they got a couple of O-boards because Gange helped off the wing, which is just a complete no-no. And they were lucky to escape without getting a 3. And of course, I motivated Mr. Cedar to be more aggressive straight away as soon as I say he's had a quiet start.
Yeah, we did the same thing with Mick Cedar last week. We said he was quiet, and then he hits the game winner.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change our name to the Motivational Media Crew.
I like it. Put it on a T-shirt, Johnny.
Got to get those nothing but net ones done first. So Cedar hits them both, and Mackay has the lead now, 31-30. Pirates looking for their first bucket of the second quarter. Six on the shot clock. Vines hits McGrew, goes right at the defense, flips it up and in.
A great possession. I think one of the questions that needs to be asked is, it's cool when we're shooting and we're playing well and we're putting up 30 and a quarter, but we haven't scored for 2.5 minutes and we need a bucket. What are we going to go to? And they just ran the shot clock down. They got the ball to their stud, and he delivered.
Trigar misses. He likes the matchup, the one-on-one matchup with McGrew. He's going at him every time.
I think Trigar likes every matchup, as he should. Well, I mean that in the most complimentary way. He should like it because he's that good of a player.
Verl Williams hits the 3.
I was going to be a bit funnier and say there ain't no matchup he doesn't like as long as he's got the pill. But absolutely, man.
Trigger looks, with all respect, Trigger, it looks like he could do with a little bit of conditioning work. It's just, I don't know. I've seen him in slightly better shape than he is now. So we'll see as the season goes on and he gets in shape. But McGrew's a tough matchup for anybody.
Yeah,
McGrew blocks the shot. Verl Williams loses it, and then Trigar hits the jumper.
Yeah, I mean, Trigar's always been, you know, a terrific player. I remember, you know, in the early days, playing with him at the Pirates, and you know, he'd give you a quiet 46.
Well, I remember playing against him, and it wasn't that quiet. Trust me, when you're guarding him, it's never a quiet 40.
Yeah, I know.
I remember Scott Lloyd talking about that, and him and Jason Cameron would go to the locker room after the game, like, geez, Trigger shot it a lot. What the hell's going on? And, you know, he's 19 of 22 or something ridiculous, and Scott Lloyd's 7 of 15, or, you know, just been a quality player for such a long time.
A lot of contact on both ends. Referees letting it go a little bit more here in the second quarter. 2-point lead for Pirates, 35-33, with about 6:15 to go in the first half. McGrew won't hesitate from three. It's too strong. Bruce comes down with it. Verl Williams gets his hands on it. Can't keep it from going out of bounds, though. See a few of the Brisbane Capitals players down here in the stands scouting the competition. Always good to see the guys out and about.
Well, I think CJ Bruden's here as well. It's always good to see the basketball community come out and support what is, as we've said, a really good league.
The defense has really tightened up for both teams here. Both teams struggling to score the pill here in the second quarter. Take a look at the score in the quarter. Cedars' baseline jumper is off. Gets to the rim, lays it in, plus the foul. Let's see who they're going to give this one to. That one's going to go on number 25, Alex Boardman. That's his second personal. Cedar at the line again for a three-point play opportunity. And Coach McDowner going to take a timeout. Good timeout here, guys. We'll take one as well. 5:42 to go in the first half. It's Southwest up 35, Southwest up 35 over Mackay's 33 here. And QBL basketball presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. All right, we're back here at the Hibiscus Sports Complex. Dave, I see you checking out the stats. What's the box score telling you?
I mean, both teams are looking after the ball well. I mean, 5 turnovers for Pirates, which is what we talked about in the pregame, the key for them, and only 7 for Mackay. So both teams are looking after the ball, and I think it's pretty much as expected. I mean, you've got the guys from Mackay are doing what they should do. You've got guys like Walker and Chagar and Cedar are all averaging 18, 19, 20 points a game. So they're all doing their thing. Just for the Pirates, it's around what are you going to take away a little bit from Mackay. So again, like we talked about a little bit, they went a bit scrappy. They've pressed, they've trapped, which has been good so far. I think they've scrapped well out of it. One thing they have struggled to do a little bit is that box out. So they've contested well and they run around. They got to box the more physical Mackay group out.
Yeah, Cedar hit the free throw. I said it was 35-33. It was 35 all, so Cedar's free throw and gives Mackay the lead by 1. McGrew from the top of the key rolls in and out, fighting for the rebound. Blycavs hands it over to Bruce. Now Walker checking back in for Mackay. Gets into the paint and finishes strong. There's that strength for you, Dan.
Well, that's just an athlete who's a better athlete than everyone else on the floor. And you got to know your strengths. I mean, credit to him. Makes a great move.
38-35. Vines looking to get on the score sheet. Misses.
I think although it was a timeout from Pirates then, looks like Mackay's come out with a little bit more intensity. And again, I think Trigar's probably given him the whole, listen, we're not playing that well. We've got 4 minutes to go to make a bit of a statement here.
Blycavs from 3, that's good. Lucas Blackhabs increases the lead now to 6, 41-35.
Well, like we said at quarter time, you'd expect Mackay, you know, the third game, they're going through the motions. Southwest not too bad. It's time for us to step it up a little bit, and that's exactly what they've done. And Southwest now are struggling to score. You can't really see them getting many buckets out of sets. It's all broken plays like Teasy hitting that shot there. And I just think for them to be competitive today and moving forward, especially without a Jared Bairstow, they've just got to be structured and execute their stuff really, really well.
It's only a 4-point lead here for Mackay. Gange hits a 3 right in the face of Brendan Tees. 44-37, and just like that, it's up to 7, boys. Earl Williams Jr. misses the 3. Mackay daring Southwest to beat them from the outside, and Southwest happy to shoot away. They're just not hitting them at the moment. And then Cedar gets called for the offensive foul, hooking Verl Williams Jr. Cedar can't believe the call, but it was a clear hook from my angle at least.
Well, I think Verl made it look like a clear hook. I'm not sure that it was as clear as maybe it was, but I think the fact that you're undersized, it kind of maybe lends you to exaggerate the contact a little bit.
Yeah, the Pirates not shooting a great clip from the perimeter, 4-13 so far, which isn't horrible, but it's not great. They've had a lot of good looks, though, out of it.
Machando has checked in for Ryan Vines. Teasy looking for the screen from Boardman. Now Verl Williams Jr. wide open again from 3. That's off. Knocked around. Boardman comes down with it. Looking inside. McGrew's pass nearly stolen. Boardman has it. There's 3 on the shot clock. They got to get the shot up. McGrew does. It's an air ball. And then Boardman fouls Bruce underneath the bucket, trying to fight for the offensive rebound.
You know, Boardman's he's got to shoot the ball. I mean, you know, there was an interesting pass that was, you know, put McGrew under huge pressure. Same thing, Gamble did the same thing. You can't come in and be a spectator. You've got to be a player. And so if they're open, shoot the ball or, you know, make a good move to the bucket.
Well, that allows Mackay to play them a bit softer as
Absolutely.
well. And if you looked in the last possession, Southwest spacing doesn't look great, and that's partly because you don't have to guard Boardman. You've got to keep him off the glass, definitely, but other than that, he's not too much of a threat at the moment, which means Tanner McGrew's trying to make a move with no room.
Yeah, and he's not even looking at the rim to even at least pretend that you want to shoot the ball.
And just quietly, fellas, we're out to a 9-point lead, and like we said, the class of Mackay is starting to shine through.
Tees with the jumper. He hits it, cuts the lead back to 7.
I think if they keep running that on ball on the right-hand side of the court all night long, Thunder, they'll be fine because they've scored literally every time out of it.
Southwest we're talking about?
Yeah, Mackay hasn't defended it very well, and if it isn't for those 10 points off that pick and roll action, you know, it's getting a bit ugly for the Pirates.
Machando picks up the foul. Walker trying to get to the bucket. That's the 15th foul for Southwest. They're in the penalty, so Walker's going to go to line for a couple shots.
The other thing that does, Dave, we say it every week, and I'm obviously biased being a taller player, but I just think that these teams have to continue to get the ball in the post or into the paint. And we've said a couple of times, how do you do it? You've got to hit the offensive boards, pass penetrate, dribble penetrate, as Bill Senior's ready to give us some quality minutes. About to check into the game, but I just think when they come off the on-ball and Teasy gets his feet in the paint, if his shot's not there, at least he's drawing defenders in.
Yeah.
So I think the more points in the paint, the better. And that doesn't have to be through a post feed. Guard penetration, all these other ways we can do it. I think sometimes teams settle for the long jump shots quickly in the offense, which isn't always a great option.
And equally too, I mean, you know, the other option is, you know, blitzing it or hard show out of it and make someone other than Tees or Vines as a main ball handler make a decision.
Sinclair has it in the paint. 6 on the shot clock. Mackay doing a really good job forcing Southwest to fire away deep into the clock. This time Tees hits the 3.
I'm not going to say Teasy looks really good so I don't jinx him, but he looks really good. He looks healthy, which is awesome.
The 3-pointer cuts the lead. Good defense here by Verl Williams Jr. Rasmussen squaring up on Sinclair. Sinclair fouls him on his way to the bucket. So Brad Rasmussen going to go to the line for a couple shots. He's been doing that for a while too, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he gives them good energy and good intensity coming off the bench. Always has been a quality player for them. And again, just one of those good role players that you want in your group. Comes in, does what he needs to do. Generally stays in his lane, does it well.
We haven't seen every team in the league yet, so maybe it's premature, but Mackay must have the most impressive tattoo collection in the league this year.
Major sponsor opportunity, Thunder. Tattoo parlor in Mackay.
Well, there's not that much business come out of it because there's not much skin left. Everything's covered. But
Walker going to get called for a cheap one there, reaching in on McGrew. Not happy with the call. That's his third personal. And you see right away, Blykow is going to check back in for Lucas Walker.
I don't think he's upset at the call, John. I think he's upset at himself.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Well, you're not going to, and again, based on today, you're not losing anything with Blakay's coming in. He's been terrific for them in the first half.
He's been great. Lead is 7 for Mackay with 1:15 to go. Verl Williams Sr. with the ball for Southwest.
And Verl Williams Sr., how old is he, Dave? He'd be
I think he's
40s.
I think he's a year on me, so I think he's 41 this year, I would say.
So obviously an older player, but what he brings, we'll see if I'm right, but what he brings is just a bit of a steady head who knows that Tanner McGrew needs buckets, or at least touch. He knows that Teasy needs to get shots, so maybe he can help them execute and get shots for the right guys here.
Verl Williams can't corral the ball, lose it out of bounds.
Again, the scrambling's great, but they've got to secure that defensive rebound.
When you get those stops, you need to capitalize on them, don't you?
Yeah, they've only given up 4, but I don't know. I think they look. It's felt like they've given up more than 4 offensive rebounds, but
Rasmussen catch and shoot is off. There is another offensive rebound by Blackavs now. Bruce has it, gets in the paint, flips one up and in, plus the foul. Bruce hits the tough bucket. They're giving that foul to Jake Allen, who just checked in for Southwest. Coach Downer going to take a timeout with 40 seconds left in the first half, so we'll take one as well. 51-42, the Mackay Meteors over the Southwest Metro Pirates on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Welcome back to your QBL Game of the Week. We're live from Hibiscus Sports Complex here in Mount Gravatt. 40 seconds to go in the first half. Mackay over Southwest, 51-42. Good timeout by Coach Downer with Sean Bruce at the free throw line. You can set your offense and defense to finish the half.
Well, he's got, yeah, I mean, he needs to certainly rally the troops. He's got a couple of big possessions ahead of him, a 26-12 quarter so far. So Meteor has done a good job to turn the screws here on the Pirates. And I think, from Mick Downer's last time out, about the 3.5-minute mark, Mackay definitely has raised the intensity, and they've put themselves in the driver's seat here in this second quarter.
But this is exactly the type of situation that we spoke about pre-game as well. You haven't scored for a while. You got 12 points for the quarter. You call a timeout. Can you execute your offense and get the shot that Coach Downer's asked for?
Well, he's brought Vines back into the game. You got Vines, Tees, McGrew, Sinclair, and Jake Allen. There's a three-point attempt from Vines. He drains it.
They ran out play Thunder, the pick and roll from the right side of the floor. They've scored on. I'd love to see the tape. They look like they've scored on that every single time so far.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's Vines coming off or Teasy. They've looked great, but good for Ryan Vines to make a shot. He's struggled so far today, so hopefully that gives him some confidence.
Bruce ISO on McGrew. They're going to get a foul call. I'm not sure who they're giving that one to.
You know what? Sometimes the officials assume that a big can't stay with the guard.
Yeah.
And they almost have in their mind, oh, he's going to get fouled. I'm not sure that there was any foul there. I thought that was pretty good defense.
In the play before, I didn't think Allen touched Bruce either. I think Bruce just sort of fell over and got one. So a couple of unlucky calls here late.
It's a tough job being a referee. I try not to get too onto them too much, but yeah, it was a tough call there for McGrew. He did a pretty good job staying in front of the shorter, quicker player, and to get called, for the foul was a tough one there though. But referees see it, they call it. Bruce hits the first one. The second one is up now. That's good as well. So we got just under 12 seconds to go in the half, and Mackay up 9. Six now, 5. Tees gonna have to get something off quickly. Looking for the foul call. They're gonna get him called. They're gonna get the travel called. Good defense there by Gamblin, shutting down the lane right in front of Brendan Tees. Mackay's looking for some extra time to try and get a shot off, but the halftime buzzer definitely went. Mackay's gonna head into the locker room up 9, 54-45. Dan, give us your quick thoughts on that first half of action. That second quarter was impressive from Mackay.
It was, and they did what I thought they might do, which is just show their pedigree. They've got great players, and they ran their stuff really well, and I think also give Southwest credit. Tough start to the season. You go into the half with a 9-point gap. Not ideal, obviously, but we'll see how they respond in the third quarter. There's a risk that Mackay will come out and take it up another notch, and this turns into the third game W in 3 days, but hopefully for Southwest's sake, they can get Tanner McGrew good quality shots. Teasy can keep it going. Ryan Bidens might come alive, and they make this a real competitive match on a Sunday afternoon in front of their home crowd.
Dave, quick thoughts before we go to the break.
No, I think that's a good summary from Thunder. The only thing is, obviously, you just need to get everyone engaged, and so Chris Cedar was a bit quiet in the first. He turned it up in the second quarter, and like he has been the last couple of years, a great player, and when he tries to stamp his authority, his teams look really good. So I think that for me, that was one of the big differences. It was a more aggressive Cedar in that second quarter.
Well, I've got my eyes on Ryan Barnes just to quickly finish. He's 1 of 3. The 2 fouls obviously hurt him. 2 turnovers. He hasn't given them much. I think, like we said, he's been in an NBL program. He probably thinks in his mind that he wants to take that next step. And this is a perfect game, down 9 against a quality team where he's got to step up and show that he belongs at that next level.
Well, it is halftime. We'll find out if Vines can step up in the second half. We'll take a break as Mackay leads Southwest 54-45 live on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. All right, back with you here on the QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. It's the Mackay Meteors over the Southwest Metro Pirates, 54-45. I'm John Guan. I'm joined, of course, as always, by Dan George and Dave Derwin. Taking a quick look at some of the statistics at the halftime stats for us there, please, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, both groups have had good starts of the game. Obviously, Mackay had a bit of a better second quarter. Pretty even on the stats. I mean, both shooting very similar. 5 more shots for the Pirates, and they've missed a couple more. 3-pointers, again, really efficient. 5 of 9 from Mackay versus 6 of 18. But I personally think really good looks from the Pirates out of their offense. Really good patience. +8 on the boards for Mackay, like we talked about in pre-game. And Pirates done a good job of looking after the pill to stay in the game, which, again, we talked about as a key to the game. For me, I think offensively they've done a good job, Southwest, of being patient and looking for their offense in that last 8 seconds of the clock, in that last third of the 24. And so I think that's been good. Make Mackay play defense, move the ball around. But like we commentated on before, the third or the fourth or fifth option for the Pirates has got to be a threat. I mean, you just can't hang out because Mackay is just going to sag. And defensively, I think that'll wear them out, and that'll turn into a 25-point loss if it doesn't change.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, though, Dave, and I saw this. You want to work the shot clock, but you still want to get a good shot. It's not worth it to run 24 seconds off a shot clock if you're just heaving something up.
Yep. Yeah.
Dan?
I think it's a pretty good summary. And if you look purely at the box score, it is pretty even, Dave, you're right. I think from an eye test point of view, I just think that Southwest came out looking great, but then when things got a little bit tough and Mackay might have put their level up a little bit, Southwest struggled to score, and I think the key question is when that happens, who's our go-to guy? We need a bucket. What are we going to run, and who do you want to get the shot? And I think that's what's been lacking so far. So let's see if they come out and execute, I don't know, a side-on ball with Tees and McGrew to get McGrew rolling, or whatever it is that they need to run that Mick Downer decides. But I think that's what's going to keep them in the match here. And continuing to rebound and control the backboard and control the tempo will obviously play into Southwest favour too. But I'd almost be trying to get out and get Verl and Tanner McGrew running the floor and make Sean Bruce and Cam Trigar sprint up and down with you and maybe try and pick up the pace just a little bit here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the pace needs to improve for Southwest. I don't think they're playing at the pace they need to. They've got, great ball players with, Williams and Tees and Vines who are all good in trans. And I think they want to be able to push the pace a little bit here in this third quarter.
Well, I think like Cam Trigar, Sean Bruce, Walker, Cedar, I think these guys are too experienced and too clever for this to be a half-court game. I think their knowledge and their IQ and their experiences will come out on top, whereas maybe Southwest need to have that discipline between let's get out and run as often as we can and put pressure on the rim and make this a bit of a track meet. But if it's not there, we've got to slow it down and execute, but be methodical and make sure we get shots for the right guys. There's a fine line between playing fast and playing out of control, but I think that's what they might need to do to turn a 9-point deficit into an advantage and then a win.
Yeah. I think when the Pirates looked the best for me was when they were throwing different looks at them, pressuring the ball, trapping the ball, trying to make it a little bit more chaotic. That plays into their talent, I think, where, like you said, Mackay is much more experienced. Probably they are deep, let's say that, but Pirates have already run 10 guys already, where Mackay still has a few guys who have yet to see the court. So I think if you're Pirates, if you're going to use your depth, you got to use it in that sense to keep the pace up and increase it and maintain that pace if that's what you're going to go with.
And I'd almost shorten the rotation a little bit as well. You're right, there have been a lot of guys see minutes. I'd almost bring it back just to 7. Pick your top 7 guys that you think are going to be your main contributors and just ride them all day long. Get Tanner McGrew playing as many minutes as he possibly can, which he has so far, but I'm not sure that, you don't have to play 10 guys. Just play 7 or maybe 8.
I say it quite often, and we see a lot of teams that are deep playing their guys, but at the end of the day, this is round 5. Pirates haven't had a win yet. They got to play their best guys that are going to give them the best opportunity to win.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to play 10, 12 guys if you can, but you got to get the win.
And on a positive note, for the Pirates, I mean, they have played.
Wow, how about that from Cedar too? A turnover from Ryan Vines, which, I mean, he needs to lead this team. Sorry, D-Love, but Cedar in transition, no hesitation at all.
I was going to say a little bit of the Pirates' defense is that they have played 3 of the top teams in the league already, so that's always nice to if you're gonna be without your guys, at least you've played 3 of the harder games.
Yeah, and McGrew got a nice look there from Will Sinclair, foul by Rasmussen. But I want to get back to that comment of shortening the rotations. It was a similar comment we had last week with Ipswich. Again, they have all their guys can play, but you gotta roll with the guys who are playing the best, I think, and are going to give you the best opportunity to win. Now, one of our criticisms with the Capitals last year in their run to the finals, their bench was great, but maybe they overplayed and they went too deep in the bench. They're starting to tighten things up a little bit, and I think that's something that all teams, should have the luxury of playing 10, 12 deep, but recognizing that you do need to shorten those rotations.
And I think one of the challenges of that, especially for Mick Downer, is that Ryan Vine should be one of those guys, but his play probably hasn't justified him playing 35 minutes a game. So he needs to step it up to make Coach Downer shorten the rotation as well, because when the performance isn't there, he's got to try and find someone else who can bring something.
Yeah, as a coach, you got to make those tough decisions. You got to sit guys when they're not performing and give other guys opportunities. And if they run with it, let them run with it. That's what you need. You need the W. I think, and you see Verl Williams getting a lot of minutes because he's producing.
There you go. I just said to Trigar at halftime quickly, Brucey's going to get an offensive because he's probably got away with 3 so far. And great D from Verl, getting up and in. Frustrating him is exactly what they need from the Pirates' point of view. And Brucey just getting a bit frustrated himself.
Sinclair has his pass stolen there by Cedar, his second steal of the second half. Takes a few steps there. Walker tips it up and in, though. Mackay looking to put their stamp on this one. Really shutting down the Pirates on the defensive end and hurting them in transition.
Well, we gave the Pirates love for looking after the pill in the first half. They haven't started that way. 2 turnovers and 2 Mackay scores.
Verl Williams, nice looking shot there. It was a bit funky, a hook shot layup, but we'll count it. It went in.
He's throwing it back.
Good ball movement here. Cedar for 3. That's good.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have said anything because the Pirate fans aren't going to be happy.
Cedar starting to heat up here in the second half. Another turnover for the Pirates. Here comes Walker in transition.
They need maybe a timeout and a rocket to start with, or this one's going to be over.
It's a 13-point lead for Mackay, 62-49. Bruce loses it on the way up. I'm going to say it went off the Pirates, so Mackay's going to maintain possession. Oh.
Well, I thought that was obviously a Mackay ball, so I'll be surprised if they change the call. But again, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but what are Southwest going to run when they need a bucket? Because so far we've seen 3 or 4 turnovers in first 4 possessions.
Bruce coming off the pick, hits the jump shot. Mackay starting off the championship quarter the way you want. Shutting out the Pirates so far, and they're up 15. Good ball movement here. Verl Williams open for 3, rolls in and out. McGrew with the offensive rebound, can't put it up. Got the second one to fall, though.
He's pulling a trigger on trigger with the offensive putback, padding the stats.
Walker finishes through the contact.
Wow. I mean, who created the contact?
Well, to me, Walker definitely created the contact.
Walker's elbow is exactly who created the contact.
It's not an easy finish, though. He got bumped about 4 times, mostly through his own doing, but still able to control himself and finish, plus the foul.
Well, I think one of the criticisms of his game is that his ball handling is not the greatest, so it looks like there's a lot of contact, but it's just him trying to keep the handle a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, I mean, and Teesy's, Teesy's, I was going to say elite maybe defender in the NBL. Is that a fair statement, Thunder?
Yes. I'm stealing your thunder.
I was going to say.
Guards 1 through 3.
John Thunder Guana.
Rasmussen gets called for the reach-in foul.
And again, for those young kids, what Brendan does well then is stays upright as far as shows his chest, shows his hands to the referee. And that's why I think, great defense, easy call for Walker for an offensive. But referees disagree with me.
McGrew looking to back down, spins baseline, flips in with the right hand. Nice move there from McGrew. Cuts the lead to 14.
And there needs to be more of that. Just really simple offense. Pump it into McGrew and just play off it.
Well, I think like everything in life, fellas, simplicity is underrated.
Bruce.
Nice feed from Bruce to trigger. I mean, as a big, anytime you can get an easy bucket, courtesy of a guard, is always a very happy moment during any game. But simplicity is underrated, meaning there's no need to draw up anything too elaborate. Sometimes you just got to go to your guys and let them work.
Yeah.
Tees with the 3. Pirates need to get some stops here, though. Cedar feeling it. Walker snatching the rebound out of the hands of Trigar and puts it right back up and in.
And you just can't, just like height, you just can't teach athleticism like that.
Bit of moisture on the court.
I don't understand the flop warning. Someone will have to explain it to me, but I think there's a... So if you try and take a charge and it's not called, is it automatically a flop warning because he fell over?
I'm confused as
like
well.
That was pretty good D.
We need our resident referee, Regan Baker, to clarify this.
That was pretty good D.
He legitimately tried to go for a charge.
And it could have been a charge. It wasn't called, so automatically it's a flop warning. I just don't understand that.
I don't get it.
We don't have Regan on the mic, unfortunately.
Regan has been muted, unfortunately.
Yeah, we disallowed him to commentate on the men's game. Only the women's, eh? Now you're right though, Dan. I mean, you're almost taught to go for the charge call, aren't you? So you can't penalize them every time they try to pick it up.
Fellas, I'm not sure that Southwest can keep playing with the two bigs. I know Boardman is in there at the moment, but what it leads to is terrible spacing. So Tanner McGrew is getting it in the block, and he's got Rasmussen guarding him, and he turns around and triggers 1.5 steps away because no one's really guarding Boardman down there. So they might need to go small, put McGrew at the 5 and let him play a bit more one-on-one in the post and speed this game up a little bit because we're getting close to a 20-point deficit. The current system's not working, and I just think the spacing that they're getting and the looks they're getting for McGrew in the post is not best because Alex Boardman's not really being guarded that well.
Yeah, and again, you know, like we talked about before in the calls, post feed equals, you know, a dive. And so Boardman then, he was mucking around trying to get Teasy on a screen when he's got to go seal his man right under the rim. And that takes away Trigar's action. And then you got McGrew one-on-one with Rasmussen. Really,
and this is where Jared Bairstow is such a big out because he'd probably be in Boardman's spot at the moment and he can shoot the 3. So Trigar has to guard him out there and there's less help. So if we look down the bench, I'm not sure. Maybe Jake Allen would be a small ball 4 that you could bring in to try and give that spacing and speed the game up. That might be something worth trying, but I just think at the moment they're struggling to score. McGrew's your main guy, league MVP from 12 months ago. I think you need to get him some easier looks, which means more space. How do you do it? I think that's the challenge that Southwest have at the moment.
And the action that he tried to hit on Brendan on that back pick was okay as long as he executed, not sort of in between. And that's where just that timing and execution.
We see it again here, fellas. There's nowhere for McGrew to go because Trigar's standing 2 steps to his left.
Vine's 3 is off. Walker corrals the long one. He's got a 3-on-2. Finds Cedar. Layup is good for Mackay. The Meteors are taking off, guys.
Well, the other thing that it's doing, fellas, is that when they kick it out, which McGrew has to because he's got nowhere to work, that leads to jump shots. The jump shots aren't going, so Mackay's defensive rebounding and running and their transition game is looking really good right now.
5 on the shot clock. Tees has it in the corner. He's going to flip one up. Can't get it to fall. Boardman grabs the O-board.
Yeah, great job from Boardman on the glass. Wow, that looked like a...
Verl thought he was getting the foul call there. Pulled up for the fadeaway and didn't hit. Here's Cedar off the screen. Great pump fake. Gets Verl Williams in the air. And Coach Downer's forced to take a timeout as his team now trails by 21. Mackay putting on an absolute clinic in the championship quarter here, fellas. With that timeout, we'll take one as well. Just under 4 minutes to go. Pirates down 21 on your QBL Game of the Week. Presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Hibiscus Sports Complex. Pirates down 21, 77-56. Mackay has absolutely blown Southwest out of the water here in this third quarter, Dan.
Well, not just the third quarter, Johnny. You're right, but even going back to the second quarter, I think we said at quarter time that these guys were probably going to take it up a notch, and that's exactly what they've done. Southwest were leading 30-25 at the first break, and since then, Mackay has put on 52-26, just showing their class and completely dominated. And I guess the Southwest team, led by Coach Dan, have got some work to do here.
Referee's just getting the clock sorted here. 3:58 to go in the third quarter. Chris Cedar, you sparked them up a bit. Dave got getting it going in transition.
Yeah, that's my job.
Just they seem to have ramped things up defensively also. And again, sitting back and just challenging the Pirates to beat them from the outside. Pirates haven't been able to hit that outside shot consistently enough.
Yeah, I mean the field goal percentage obviously has gone south a little bit in this third quarter. But I actually think it's generally just that the offensive aggressiveness from Mackay has been what they're after, and that's what good teams can do. They know when to turn it up.
McGrew misses, can't get the tip, tips it up again and in.
Well, I was about to say, he's only got 6 rebounds. Oh,
Jagar trying to...
Potentially a tough catch, yeah.
Trying to steal on there.
McGrew had 6 rebounds. I think he just gave himself an extra 2 on that possession, so that's good. That's good for him.
Double-double, baby. They do need to do something to get McGrew going. Putting him in the block isn't happening. Let him go top of the key and go one-on-one.
Well, even I'd try and go to the wing and run some side-on balls that we saw be so effective in the first half. They've got to do something, but getting him on the move might help, because at the moment when they go to the post, Mackay's defense is set. They've got help standing in the post. They're helping off Boardman completely. As we see, Coach Downer does go small here with Jake Allen moving to the 4, so we'll see how this goes. But maybe some side-on balls to get McGrew catching it on the move where it's harder for him to be trapped.
Boardman picked up his 4th, so he's taking a seat on the bench. His team down 19. Tendakai Machado just checked in.
You know, and I think the other thing too is in the more modern style of hoops, where 4s are shooting 3s and 5s are shooting 3s, the real positions mean not a great deal. And so if you're the 4 or the 5 now, if you can shoot the 3, that's obviously a bonus. But if you're not making Trigar guard anyone, then obviously Mackay's got a 5-on-4 effectively. So
I agree 100%, with the only caveat to that being as long as you can rebound. So if Jake Allen's going to play a small ball 4, that's cool and it works as long as he can get rebounds and not get beat on the glass.
Back-to-back 3-pointers from Burl Williams Jr. cuts the lead to 15. He's doing a great job on the defensive end as well. Pass ahead to Rasmussen. He's fouled there by Tees. Pirates looking to pick up the energy here and force some turnovers. Burl Williams Jr. having himself a game. He's got to be at 20 now.
Yeah, last stats are a little bit behind, but you'd think he'd be pretty close. He started off really, really well, and he's obviously had a big minute.
Yep, 20 points on 7 of 14 shooting, 5 of 10 from 3. When you're shooting 50%, keep firing, young fella. Here comes Trigar telling his assistant coaches what substitutions to make. It's quite interesting to watch a player coach playing and coaching at the same time. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, I mean, I did it with Jason Cameron as well, and Jay was the player coach per se, but obviously he had a bit of a luxury where I did most of the calls and he just played, which was good. But just adds a bit of pressure on Trigar to keep his head in the game, and so and find when you want to get someone in and out, and just that nice balance to keep everyone happy.
Well, I've seen it a couple of times, like down in the Seaboard with Anthony Stewart's and the like, and talk about another fantastic player. His ability to shoot the ball's one of the best ever in Australia, but one of the rare things about this situation is that Trigger is still one of the main 2 or 3. That's sometimes the main option on offense. So it's interesting to have a player coach who's playing such a huge role. Usually the player coach is the older guy that's coming back to 10 minutes a game as a player, but Trigger's got to be the coach and play heavy minutes. And come finals time when he's logging 30 minutes in a semi-final, we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be a tough one to juggle, but if anyone's capable, he is for sure.
Great catch there by McGrew and a finish off the Verl Williams pass. It's now 13 points to lead for Pirates.
Good crowd here at the Hibiscus Stadium as well on Sunday afternoon, See if they can make a bit of noise and get the Pirate boys home. 13-point game now.
Lucas Walker is just desperate to dunk on somebody. He is going to the rim every time.
He's just that much more athletic than anyone else on the floor. He can throw up a shot and just chase it and get his own rebound.
He's an angry man, fellas.
He is an angry man.
You know, that's good. Give him credit for playing hard. Some of these NBL guys might not play as hard as he is. He's playing hard and he cares and he's all in. So it's not a criticism. It's just a bit of comedic relief.
Sure.
Christian Pang checks in for the Pirates. Brendan Tees gets a breather. Minute 25 to go in the third quarter. Pirates down 15, 81-66. Walker gets called for the travel again. He wants to get on that rim. We want to see it too.
Well, we saw Tanner McGrew finish. It was a quick dunk too in the first quarter, and since then there hasn't been a lot of above the rim action, so I'm waiting for something too.
Williams going to step into a three. That's good. He's feeling it. Verl Williams Jr. keeping the Pirates in this one. They're only down 12 with under a minute to go in the third. Bruce working on Allen. Finds Gange. Now back to Bruce. He's going to fire a three. That's too strong. And fighting for the rebound. Not sure who they're going to give that one to.
It should be a foul on Lucas Walker, meaning someone was holding Lucas Walker. I thought that should have gone the other way.
Yeah,
the right call, but they were holding him.
Well, since Thunder's stat of the 52-20 something, Pirates have had a good job. They're only down 3 in this third quarter, which was if you're Coach Downer, that's a nice little fight back, and you just got to chip away, right? They get a couple more stops here, walk in, 10 or 11 down or better.
Walker now picked up his 4th personal as well, so he's going to have a seat on the bench. Machando for 3. It's up. It's good. We're back to single digits, 81-72. And Mackay's going to take a timeout, fellas. The Pirates are doing it from beyond the arc.
But it's the small ball too. McGrew to the 5. See how much better their spacing is? McGrew in that position sets an on ball. He pops. Verl comes off penetration, kicks to a shooter. They just look so much better with so much more room to operate. So they might have found a recipe that works here.
Yeah, the young fellas stepping up when the Pirates need them the most. It's not Tees, it's not Vines. It's not been McGrew, it's been Verl Williams Jr. really carrying them here in the third quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think, Teesy's still keeping them honest. He's got 17 points as well. Again, the small ball lineup is going to work. Again, the pace too.
Pirates picking up the pace. They're doing a better job defensively. The main thing is they stop turning the ball over. Yeah. Okay, that's what hurt them to start the third quarter. Bit of momentum. Mackay started pulling away. Now that they're taking care of the pill, getting a few stops, getting a few turnovers on their own, they're building their confidence, and now they're coming out and they're playing good basketball.
And Mackay's got to do a better job of when Brucey gets his rest, right? So, I don't know if there's a coincidence with him having the last few minutes off, and that was when Pirates made a push. So, they need to know how they get good minutes out of their bench and their backup one.
Let's see if the young fellas for the Pirates can keep it going here. They got the team back into a 9-point deficit, keeping it at single digits here. There's a 1-second differential between the game and shot clock. Bruce is going to pull up at the free throw line and drain it. Pirates have to work quickly. Gange nearly steals it. He does. And then they're going to call a foul on Tendakai Machando. That's the last thing that you wanted if you're the Pirates. A, to turn it over, but then foul. That puts them in the bonus. Mackay's going to go to line for 2 shots.
I think it's a foul on Ver Williams, which is his third, I think. But you're right, geez, they did so much work. Mackay out of the timeout, get a great look for Sean Brewster. They executed really well, and then that turnover, that hurts. Absolutely hurts you.
Gange, though, misses the first one. 1.7 seconds left. Second one is up. That's good. So I don't know if Pirates are going to get one off here. Verl Williams is going to have to throw up the 3/4 court shot. It's up. It's off. So heading into the 4th quarter, Pirates trail by 12, 84-72. We'll take a quick break. We'll go through some stats, and we'll bring you the 4th quarter action here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. All right, back with you here on the QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. 12-point lead for Mackay, 84-72. It was looking ugly there for the Pirates. They got back into it with a 3-point shot.
Yeah, just a good fight back again. Like we talked about again in the opening, you know, compete. This young team's got to compete and not be intimidated by Mackay. So the 3 balls helped them out here. Critical first 3 minutes, I think, is if they can get it down to 6 to 8, they'll get a bit of confidence. Equally, Mackay comes out, blows it to 14, 15, 16. Maybe the Pirates, you know, then go, oh, listen, maybe this is all a bit too hard.
Well, Pirates didn't start the 3rd quarter well, and that's what put them in trouble, Dan. This is it. They got to do it, and if they don't start off right, it's going to be over before even half.
Well, they've shown a lot of heart, so win or lose, they can take a lot out of this, but I guess there are no moral victories either, so they need to either step up and get a win, or they're 0-4, obviously, and the stats are now evened out really well. The second chance points for Mackay have really helped them, so if Southwest can continue what they were doing but control the defensive glass a little bit more, who knows, anything's possible.
Bruce, once he gets at that free throw line, it's just like a free throw, hits another one.
Well, he lives off the baseline out of bounds, corner jump shot, or getting to that foul line. It's just a money shot every single time.
And really, you know, really good patience from Mackay. You know, just a simple second on ball. Brucey had so much time, really simple.
What Southwest can't do is come out and do that quick 3-point shots off 1 or 2 passes. They need to come out and execute, get it inside, let McGrew get a touch every possession.
Bruce again at the free throw line will put it up, and that's good. You let him get there, he's going to make you pay. Pirates haven't stopped him.
Well, he's come out and he said, listen, I'm just going to end this game in the next few minutes.
Pass inside to Christian Pang, loses the ball, and Bruce comes up with it. He's pushing, going right at the defense, flips it up and in. And Coach Mick Danner taking the timeout. It's an 18-point lead here for Mackay. We're a minute 10 into the 4th quarter. We said it was going to be key that they started off well. Mackay started off extremely well. Pirates, though, they looked terrible to start that 4th quarter.
Yeah, I think Sean Bruce just said, Lucas Walker, 4 fouls. Coach Trigar, take a seat. I got this, fellas. He's come out on fire, and Southwest have had no answer, and it goes from a 11, 12-point game, and it's competitive, to a 18-point game real quick.
Good timeout, though, by Coach Downer. He didn't really have a choice, did he?
No, he had to, absolutely.
What do you say in this timeout, though? You're only a minute 10 in from the quarter-time break. What changes?
Well, like, from my point of view, they've gone, and Brendan T's taking a shot's never a bad thing for this team, but they've come out and off 1-2 passes, he's jacked a 3-point shot. That leads to a Sean Bruce transition bucket. And then you got Tanner McGrew feeding, and I apologise, I don't know his name, feeding Christian Pang in the post. He might be a great player, but I'm not sure that in the game situation that you're in, that's meant to be the go-to. So what happens? They turn it over, Sean Bruce comes down in trans and gets another bucket. So if I'm Southwest, I've got to go to 1 or 2 guys every time. McGrew has to get touches in the post. We have to run something to get him looks, because if we can't execute without the Bestos, without Ryan Vines playing well, they just don't have the manpower to play that style of ball.
Burrell Williams now has McGrew, Machando, Tees, and Christian Pang on the floor with him. Mackay answers with Blycavs, Gamblin, Bruce, Trigar, and Gange. Here's Tees leaving his feet. Now McGrew has it. Good pump fake by McGrew. Takes the tough jump shot. He's fouled. They're going to say it was on the floor.
I don't know how they thought he was doing anything but shooting it.
Pick the ball up, right?
Anyway, whatever, they got a foul call and they get another chance here to execute another bucket.
Well, Vines is about to check back in. Not the happiest of Sunday afternoons for him so far. The foul trouble's hurt him.
Sorry to interrupt, DD, but Tanner McGrew's got to recognise too that he can't pass out of that. They ran a good play. He actually came out, slipped to the post. They got it to him, and he's kicked it out, almost turned it over, and they did turn it over as a team. So that might have been the right play when they're at full strength and they're playing really well, but you're down 18, you're the MVP of the league. When you get it down there, go to work. That's a shot you have to take for this Southwest Metro team.
Pang one-on-one with Bruce.
Sean Bruce is hooking all day long too, by the way, fellas.
McGrew with the rebound, kicks ahead now to Vines. Vines, good hesitation dribble, a lot of contact, loses it. McGrew comes up with it and he finishes.
Yeah, good D by Gange in transition then. Just stayed up, straight up, moved his feet in position.
So it looks better for the Pirates on the defensive side of things. Bruce goes behind his back. Step back jumper is up, that's short. Bruce calling for one, he needs a breather. Vines gonna fire a 3, that's too strong. Pang though grabs the board. Back to Vines again for 3, it's good, and the foul. Mitch Gamblin ran through Christian Pang. Can that be the spark that the Pirates need? The crowd's starting to get into it as well. And Cedar gonna check back in for Sean Bruce.
But the Pirates are continuing to hang around, boys. Just see if they can break that 10-point bit of confidence.
Well, they've got Lucas Walker in foul trouble. Sean Bruce has now asked for a sub because he's exhausted. If they're going to make a run, it has to be now.
Pang gets his hands on it. Vines up ahead to Teasy. Tease was looking for the call, didn't get it. And they're going to say it went off the hands of Brendan Tease out of bounds. Here comes some pressure here from the Pirates. Teasy working for the foul call.
I don't know. I mean, I like the early kick ahead in trans, but I would have thought Brendan should have gone to the three-point line. Vines just dribble kick.
I thought Vine should have given up earlier to get it back. But that's why we're over here. How easy is it for us to sit here and...
Well,
Vine should have thrown it off the glass to tease it. No, I'm joking.
Well, yeah, I just think, again, in trans, I mean, that's your best 3, right? Transition 3s.
I don't know. It's a 2-on-1. A 3-point shot's not advisable there, Dave. Come on, bro.
Down 13?
Are you watching the NBA?
I don't see Steph Curry out there.
I was more talking about the 3-point to 2-point ratio of shots.
Good read there by Cedar. He's got his hand on a few ball in the lane, all right? A few hands on the ball in the lane.
Are you trying to be careful with your words there, John?
I caught myself. Probably don't need to. We are talking about basketball, aren't we? So Tease getting set to inbounds here for the Pirates. 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. Vines at the free throw line, flips one up. It's off. Walker comes down with it.
I don't know if there's too many dudes that are getting the ball out of that guy's hands on a potential jump ball opportunity.
Good double there on Lucas Walker, nearly turned it over. Mackay has possession though. 15 seconds to go on the shot clock. Baseline out of bounds coming from Chris. Bruce back in, gonna fire a three, that's off. 13 points, guys, 6:20 to go in the game. Pirates down double figures here. Vines goes right at the defense and lays it in. They're letting him hang around, boys.
Well, 11-point game, and good to see Ryan Vines staying aggressive. He has to be. And there's plenty of time left. 11 points in 6 minutes is not much, but they need to find ways to get stops.
Oh.
There's the offensive foul. Verl Williams stepped up.
He's going to call a block, which is a horrible. Oh, thank you.
Now,
I thought the other
he was
ref
ready.
had it.
He looked like he was ready to call the block, but Verl Williams Jr. was there for a while.
Yeah.
Way to step up and take the charge. Pirates can cut this one to single digits.
Should never have doubted her. She had it covered.
Well, both referees did blow their whistle. So, how do you decide? It's the nearest to the play?
Nearest to the scorer's table.
Yep.
I just thought he had a look in his eyes. He had block written on his eyes.
I saw that look too, Dave. I saw that look too. Thankfully, justice was served. Trigar going to get called for the offensive foul as Brendan Teese tries to set the screen for Tanner McGrew. So 4 team fouls here for Mackay, none so far for Southwest.
Yeah, I think that one there, because Trigger's never been dirty. That was a bit of a frustration. He's like, these little pesky Pirates, these young kids, they've gone small, and they're hanging around, and again, everyone can get frustrated, and Trigar's boys just can't seem to put them away just yet. That
might also be I don't really want you to set another 10 picks on me for the rest of the game. So if I just use one foul here, the next couple of picks might be a little bit softer and easier to get around, maybe.
And I like both of them, both of that mindset.
A lot of moisture on the court here. McGrew going to fire a three. That rolled in and out. That would have been huge for Southwest.
He's 1 of 5 from downtown. And again, different ball game if the Pirates have hit a bit better clip from downtown. Like we said, really good shots, I think, shot selection-wise.
Blackcavs hits one.
He's been impressive. He's been impressive
really good
today.
Pirates looking inside. Good pass and good catch by McGrew. Spinning to the right hand.
You know what? They come up empty, but they got a shot for the right guy, and he got a great look.
His touch has looked a little off today. Is that fair?
Yeah, it has, and
just
I don't know
off.
if it's just whatever reason it is. Maybe it's because he feels like he's got to rush the shot, because if he doesn't, there's going to be 3 Mackay players next to him. Maybe he's been a bit quick with it.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's not the usual efficient McGrew that we've seen in the past.
I mean, still got his 22 and 9 so far, and I think he's been really good. Just missed a couple of easy ones that he normally would get.
Speaking of easy ones,
that's called on Lucas Blackcavs, battling with for position with Verl Williams Jr. there. 15 foul.
Well, they got the clock on their side too, the Pirates.
They just can't get over that kind of 11 to 9 point hump, can they? Every time it looks like they're about to get in it, Mackay does something, whether it's defensively come up with a steal or come up with a key bucket, but they've had the answer every time.
Big shot. And credit Mackay too. They've done exactly what they needed to do. As far as, to your point, Johnny, they've either got the bucket they needed or the stop they needed.
And not to be critical, but Ryan Vine just said a cross pick for Tanner McGrew and barely touched Cam Trigar. Barely touched him.
That's a good look inside. Walker to a cutting Chris Eder.
Again, look at him. They leave him isolated. There's no cutters.
Well, you got Cam Trigar standing a foot away again. I mean, that's why I think I'd bring Jake Allen in, in favour of Christian Pang. I just think Mackay's just not guarding him.
Yeah.
And the spacing as a result's terrible, and McGrew's got no room to operate at all.
Verl Williams Jr. going to get a breather. Machando checks back in for him. Under 4 to go here. It's a 15-point lead for Mackay over Southwest.
Yeah, and McGrew looks like a really frustrated camper right now. It's been hard yakka for him all night, and I just don't know that.
Oh, we almost saw something, fellas.
And there's a technical foul, so McGrew gets called for the personal. And it looks like they're going to give McGrew a technical. I don't know if that's on him or if it's going to go on Southwest.
I hope not. That's ridiculous, fellas.
And Tanner McGrew gets called. They let the first one go. He had a word to the referees on his way down the court. They let it go. Didn't give him the warning, but then he picked up the technical foul there as well. So
you said a second ago, Dave, how frustrated he looks. You're probably right, but
well, that was the
like
precursor to the 30 seconds later he gets a tech.
Well, exactly. So he's obviously said something, but I would love an official to go, you know what, it's a 12, 13-point game. That was a pretty good contest. Lucas Walker's as good an athlete as you'll see in the comp, and McGrew contested the alley-oop dunk and said something, just swallow whistle. There was nothing too, what's the right word, demonstrative about it. There was no great anger. You couldn't really see him throw his hands in the air. Just let it go, whatever it was, and let these boys play.
It was definitely a foul.
Oh, the foul is warranted. The tech foul, not at all.
No. Here comes McGrew. Let's see if the tech will get him and his team going. They're down 18 now with 3:33 to go. Vine's jumper over Trigar is good. They got to get some stops, though, Southwest.
Yeah, I don't know, a bit surprising not to see.
You missed it, Dave.
There's your alley-oop dunk. Bruce to Walker puts it in reverse.
I'm going to go watch
You're going to have to turn on the
NBN replay.
You'll have to.
I was just going to say.
That was nice.
Tees kicks it out.
Took the air out of the Southwest team, didn't it?
Sure did. There's 5 on the shot clock. Vines has to get one off. Pass stolen there by Cedar. Then Vines picks up the personal.
I was going to say, sorry, as I did miss the alley. I just think, obviously, Coach Downer's looking for his rotations too. And from what I've seen, Allen was really good last year for Gladstone. In that 6-man role, and only 8 minutes tonight, 6 points. Looked like he was productive. A plus 11.
Well, he brings energy as
right?
well.
And a bit of toughness,
And spacing, which they've lacked horribly.
Yeah.
You want to play the young fellas because the young guys have played very well, but.
Well, I hear you, Johnny, but I only want to play them if I should.
The young fellas got to earn minutes.
And if they deserve to play.
McGrew going to fire the 3. That's good.
I mean, like you said, Allen's a small. It could be a small ball 4 in this comp, right?
He absolutely could be.
He played a couple minutes there in that second, third quarter, I think. Offensive foul called on Walker. That's his 5th personal.
I'm not sure it was, Johnny.
No? They're going to call it on Christian Pang there.
Well, I thought it was a great make-up call coming because Brucey got away with probably yet another hook or offensive foul, and I thought they were going to have a little make-up on Walker.
I hope he stays out because the game's probably out of reach. A couple of foul shots here. I'm not sure there's enough time left in the game to give Southwest as many possessions as they need to get back into it. So leave Lucas Walker out there. We want to see another highlight or 2, but I'm not sure they'll be better than the first one. That was an unbelievably good finish to catch it and reverse it off an alley-oop. I'm not sure I've ever felt what that experience is like. It's rare air up there.
I wouldn't have a clue. I'm lucky if I could touch the bottom of the net.
I get excited. I haven't played a video game in 10 years, I'm guessing. How sad is that? But back in the day when I remember catching it and getting those alleys on 2K and being excited, let alone in real life. Can't imagine what it feels like to be on the rim like that. But hopefully we see another highlight before the game's over.
We'll see. The free throws are going to put Mackay into triple figures. What have your thoughts been on Mackay, guys? We've seen quite a few teams. We haven't seen them all. We've seen Cairns. We've seen the Capitals a few times. We've yet to see the Spartans. We'll have Spartans next week and Gladstone. But where do you see Mackay? Do you see them and then there's everyone else?
I don't know if I'd say that. I think there's Mackay with a couple of other contenders. I mean, for all the criticisms of the style of brand the Capitals play that I'm happy to continue with, they have to be up there. They've shown that they're really good, and Princeton Onwas is the real deal. Him and Lucas Walker athletically are about the same level, so put them in the equation. The Cairns Marlins have been impressive as they always are. So I think there's 2 or 3 teams. I haven't seen Townsville yet, but they expect them to be good by the end of the season as well.
Yeah, they just added Todd Blanchfield to the roster, which
well,
certainly doesn't hurt.
No small signing. So I think there's 2 or 3 teams that are up there. Mackay's definitely one of them, but I don't think the gap is as wide as people might have thought it was.
Dave?
Yeah, and I think well, the Pirates would certainly be in that conversation other than the best ONT's injuries, which hurts. And, I don't know if that's how close either of them are to being at full health. So that hurts. But equally, the North are as strong as usual. I haven't seen Townsville play, but Mackay and Cairns are certainly tough. And equally, I think Brisbane looked really good last week. I think they made a few tweaks offensively, which I liked. And so that that sort of the top 4 or 5, I think, is similar to what we predicted, leading at the pre-season podcast. And our little friends up in the sunny coast, USC Rip, have been really nice. So
they're undefeated still. This win will keep Mackay undefeated. The Capitals are undefeated as well. So a lot of big games coming up. A lot of talent here in the QBL. We're lucky to bring it to you each and every week here on Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. For the Pirates, though, Dave, probably not the season that they wanted. Can they come back from this tough start? If they get it, Teasy has played big minutes tonight, looked pretty good at times. Probably not in as good of shape as he needs to be. But can the Pirates recover from this tough start?
Well, I think the big if is how far is Bairstow away, because I've heard weeks to who knows, and then equally we'll see how Brendan Tees pulls up. Because he was sort of talking about, I got to decide if I'm going to go or not go. So losing 2 starters that are instrumental into this group, that's tough. A tough position for the coaching staff to be put in. Again, I really like how they've competed tonight. I like how they've shared the ball. Their spacing's been good. They got to tweak that. Who's their 4-man? What's that going to look like? Because although the spacing was good, equally sometimes they had the 4th or 5th guy just wasn't an offensive threat. And you're just not going to compete at this level if you can't move the ball and guys can score.
Well, I'll answer that a little bit quicker for you, Dave, and say that I don't think they're going to recover from an 0-4 start. I've just got the ladder up now, and you look at the top 8, and the teams outside the 8, Logan Thunder, for example. I don't think Southwest is going to catch up in time to overtake the Logan Thunder, for example. Brisbane Spartans as well. Not impossible, but it's a super big ask for them to recover, as it would for any team, from 0-4 in a comp where you only play 17 games.
It's going to be tough, but that top of the ladder is quite packed with a few undefeated teams. Rip got a good win last night over Cairns. That's going to certainly boost their confidence. A lot of people were sleeping on the Rip. Not these 3 guys here.
Well, I picked them top 4. Everyone, people thought we were getting paid by the Rip for making a comment like that, but Easy Twitter led. They've come out playing great basketball.
But nonetheless, it's going to be a 3-0 road trip for the Mackay Meteors.
We're not getting paid by the Rip either. Sorry, we are not getting paid by the Rip. I should clarify.
No, we're not. But
we should be, but we're not.
But that's it. The final buzzer goes, guys. It's a 102-91 win for Mackay over Southwest. Pirates had their opportunities, guys. I think that third quarter, that shaky start to the third, and even the fourth quarter really hurt them. They just couldn't get over the hump, and Mackay pretty impressive in the win. You saw Sean Bruce take over at points. You saw Lucas Walker take over at points. Chris Cedar carried them for a bit. Again, the talent that they have, they're going to be a really, really tough team to beat this year. And in my eyes, they're definitely the clear-cut favorites. Without having seen at Townsville, I will say that. The talent that they have, the experience they have, it's a championship-winning team. They're filled with championship-winning experience, and they just can do it on both ends of the court, I think.
Hard to disagree with you. Hard to disagree. There are some other quality teams. I'd like to see the Izzy Tueta-Sean Bruce matchup when the Rip play Mackay. Like, there's lots of great teams in this comp, but it's hard to disagree with your statements, Johnny. So far, everyone's chasing Mackay.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I think too, Johnny, is, you know, I don't think you can really sleep on anyone really. I mean, it's an 18-game league, but you only got to get. If you look at the middle of the pack, they're either 2 and 3s and 3s and 2s, so they're only 2 or 3 games out. So, I mean, certainly it's getting to desperation for the pirate ship, but equally any of those teams in 8 through 15 can certainly get in and make some noise in the playoffs.
It's going to be tough, though, for the Pirates in particular to come back 0-4. They sit at the bottom of the ladder. Sunshine Coast, Phoenix also looking for their first win of the season. Everyone else, like you say, is in that 1-2 range. So you can make up a bit of traction on the ladder, but it's going to be tough for Southwest like it was tonight. Taking a look at the final statistics for the teams, see Mackay finished at 55% from the field, 60% from two-point land. I mean, you can't let a team shoot 55% and have a chance to win. They did it.
Not unless you're doing the same.
And the Pirates definitely didn't. They were 44% from the field, 52% from 2, 36% from 3. And you look at Pirates, they shot 38 threes. That's just too much. The shooters, like Vinesy had an off night shooting. Jake Allen didn't really get much time to get those three-point shots up. But 38 threes, that's way too much for the Pirates, in my opinion.
I think it's the type of threes they shot as well. I'm not sure that they were the best looks that they were getting out of their sets, but I'll have to check. But I think Mackay went to the foul line 38 times or something similar.
They were 23 of 28 from the field.
They had a +8 foul free throw advantage in the first half, so they had 18 at.
They doubled it by the end of the game.
Well, let's look at the scores. Leading all scorers of the night was Lucas Walker with 29 points. He also had 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and that huge alley-oop dunk. Joining him in 20 was Sean Bruce. He had 23. Chris Cedar had 19. Cam Trigar had 14. So they were really efficient, spreading the love on the offensive end for the Pirates. They were led by Tanner McGrew and Verl Williams Jr., both finishing with 25 points. Verl also had 4 assists and 2 turnovers and 2 steals, while McGrew had the double-double of 25 points and 15 rebounds. Guys, it was a pretty good game. We were lucky to have 2 pretty good games here. Give us your final thoughts before we wrap things up for good here from Hibiscus.
Well, I'll kick off. Mackay, obviously legit contenders like we all thought, and they did what they needed to do. Come down, get the 3 Ws. Southwest have got a bit of work to do. Hopefully their guys get healthy so they can give it a shake.
Dan?
You nailed it. I think Mackay showed their class. Southwest looked awesome for a quarter, and then the pedigree of the Mackay Meteors just shone through, and they look really good. Southwest, injuries or not, they've obviously got some work to do, but another good weekend of QBL basketball. The quality of the league continues to go up from my mind. Week to week we see quality teams after quality teams, and it's always good viewing. So thanks again for obviously listening in, but the Mackay Meteors look legit, don't they?
Yeah, so don't forget, next week we'll be live for you next Saturday night as the Gladstone Port City Power visit Brisbane to take on the Brisbane Spartans. Just got to thank everyone on the production team, Chris Sieber on the camera, Regan Baker on the production panel, James Bowman down in Sydney on the graphics, Dave Derwin and Dan George on commentary. I'm John Guarna. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week on the QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.